Hi, it's me, Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and join me at Patreon. Link in the description. I knew I could never become a challenge to bigger guys, so we developed the solution we think avoids many embarrassing confrontations we used to encounter. Whenever Myra displays affection for me publicly, the goons think we're lesbians and keep their distance. It works out for the best, because I feel more comfortable in women's clothes than men's. I don't think I have any men's clothes lying around the bottom of my closet anymore. What's the point of your revelation to me at this time, Carla? Are you suggesting I do things to look genuine, even in a bikini? I would have never guessed that you are a man underneath where it counts. You have ample cleavage and a lithe waistline. Your body doesn't look masculine in the least. How do you do it? Well, if you must know, I had a few tucks and gathers done surgically once I was sure that this is how I want to portray myself publicly for the rest of my life. As a man, I was a wimp. At least now, I look attractive and have lots of people follow me with their eyes everywhere I go. It bolsters my self-esteem to know that others enjoy the way I look. Did you ever feel people weren't paying attention to you when it was your turn to add to a conversation? I have a master's degree in human resources, yet when I worked as a man, I was passed over for promotion several times due to my passive nature and small stature. I got tired of being the low man on the totem pole, year after year. We left the bathroom and went to my bedroom, where a full set of feminine clothes were laid out on the bed, waiting. You wouldn't believe that I'm past my prime, would you? I'm 45, but I look as if I'm just entering my 30s. It's all because of Myra. She started working long after I did and passed me up, all because of her dynamic personality and great looks. We started dating, fell in love, and the rest is history. Carla helped me to fix my face, explaining how I should learn how to do it by myself eventually, while she continued to enlighten me about her development. I used prosthetics at the start. It worked well for the most part, but left certain types of clothes unsuitable. I didn't dare let any padding show at the time. Appearing at a beach or at a poolside as a man got to be impossible too, as I had my facial hair removed with electrolysis after a while to enjoy being away from our apartment for more than a few hours at a time. I shaved or depilate all my body hair regularly, so I couldn't go out in public in a swimsuit unless it was one of Myra's, which don't fit me well. I adore the feeling of silk against my skin without hair, don't you? I thought about it before answering. I'm not used to it, but I got goosebumps from the panties as I drew them up my legs, just now. Is that the way all women feel about the clothes they wear? It must be wonderful to be able to enjoy clothes so much. It is. I'll never go back to drab things men wear. The thrill of feeling lacy underthings is the primary reason I let Myra talk me into trying it out. We decided to get married on the spur of the moment and booked a honeymoon trip to the Bahamas. I went to the bar to get fresh drinks, and some other guy aboard the ship hit on Myra while I was at the bar, and I tried to come to the rescue. I got a loose tooth for my efforts before the ship staff could break us apart. Fortunately, no one really got hurt. He claimed to have seen her first and took me for another guy on the prowl chasing after single women who took cruises to find excitement. If only I could have afforded to buy her a proper wedding beforehand, it all might never have happened. No, we eloped and got married aboard the cruise ship on that first day out. The plain ring that I bought her in haste could easily be mistaken for a friendship ring. Myra thought the entire episode was touching, that her brave, new husband did his best to protect her from some wandering stud out looking for extracurricular activity without any concern for his own survival. She advised me that she was used to being approached by men and I should let her handle it from then on. She was used to it. I refused, telling her I wasn't going to let another man approach her in that way if I could help it. How would that look? Was I supposed to stand by meekly and let some guy butt in and try to take my wife away in front of a shipload other people? She insisted that she could handle bold men with ease and asked me to give her some time to think about it. She said she didn't mind the attention such men gave her and would figure out a plan so I wouldn't get injured when it happened the next time. I was shocked. She actually liked men chasing after her. I suppose she wasn't used to being married yet. Back in our stateroom, when she got undressed, I tore off my clothes. After all, it was our wedding night. I was beside myself, in awe at her magnificent beauty. Why she chose me for her husband was beyond me, but I wasn't about to complain. I married her because of her commanding personality and charm, as well as her well-sculptured body and obvious good looks. As I approached her, she took me with a force I couldn't believe as she explained why she knew I was the best man in the world for her. In spite of my deficiencies, I would defend her honor with my last gasp of breath, even though it wasn't needed. She felt that she had all that she needed to defend herself, which I knew was true by the way she could take control of our passionate lovemaking and fulfill all of my dreams of happiness. The gift shops aboard a cruise ship cater to a full array of sexual fantasies and carry a full line of smart apparel for the purpose. The following day, we shopped together, without my knowing that she was making purchases for me that would make you blush. I learned on our wedding night that she preferred dominance, and I reveled in it. It began with her telling me of her penis envy, that she wanted me to help her explore by my being the object of her passion. In short, she wanted to dress the part of the seducer, and me dress the part of the seduced. I saw no harm in going along, so I let her dress me up in the garments she purchased that day. When I saw how I looked, all dressed up for sex, the real meaning of being a submissive to my wife became clear to me. She knew it all along. My reflection was almost pretty, younger-looking, and demure, and I adored it. If you can imagine, the passion we shared that night exceeded our initial consummation of our vows of fidelity the night before. We were meant for each other all along, and we both knew it. We both knew that our love for one another would endure, regardless of how many arrogant brutes would confront us in an attempt to split us apart. That I could be the object of her delight, dressed in feminine finery, was eye-opening, to say the least, not only to provide her with ecstasy, but myself as well. It didn't take much coercion on her part to convince me to attempt to face the public in a dress. No one on the boat knew us personally, and no one cared how others were dressed. If I was detected as a man by anyone, no one made a point of it. In fact, the guy that hit me on the chin on our first night out smiled at me across the dining room and winked at me as well. For sure, he knew that I was Myra's husband. Yet, he licked his lips and let his tongue show between them as he continued to glare at me. He never even shot a quick glance at Myra. His interest was riveted on me. Initially, I froze in panic, thinking he would expose my charade. Instead, he merely sat in his chair, admiring my brazen courage. I know, because he told me so later as we danced together in the moonlight. Myra insisted I accept his dance request, which she predicted would occur, telling me that he was cute for an airhead, as he approached us at the table where we sat quietly in the lounge. As he approached us, I thought he would ask Myra to dance, thinking that I was in no position to defend her, dressed as I was. Instead, he apologized for his initial arrogance and took my hand and kissed it. I almost lost it when he did that. I turned to Myra for her help, but she just pushed my shoulder, telling him that I would love to dance with him. He pulled me to my feet before I had a chance to decline. I was in a state of shock, but had no choice. I danced. He held me very close, and it felt good. He knew I was a guy, and told me I was lovely anyway. Myra watched us, probably urging him to continue dancing with me for as long as he wanted. No one on the dance floor gave us a second look. I was getting away with it, and I felt a certain thrill I never knew. I discovered that following was easier than leading, and men were more fun to dance with than women. I always had trouble trying to lead women. I felt as if I was in heaven. It felt so good to be desired as a woman. It still does. Is that as far as it goes, Carla? Just dancing and letting men hold you in their arms. It goes as far as you want it to, Gail. I'm a married man. I'm devoted to Myra. We're all that we need for each other. Living the way we do is right for us. Will I ever let a man get familiar? Perhaps I will someday, but not without Myra's full consent and blessing. I do know that she has pangs for being held in a strong man's arms sometimes. And so do I sometimes. I can't be anything more than honest. You have to decide what you want on your own. Give yourself a chance. The phone broke up our lengthy conversation. Carla's story gave me much to think about. However, I would have to let that wait. Joel was picking me up to go horseback riding in an hour. I finished dressing and made sure the fall that was pinned into my short hair was secure. The full poodle skirt, extended by something called crinoline slip, bounced when I walked. I had reservations about riding in the thing, but discovered it looked gorgeous on me and emphasized my femininity. Joel literally drooled at the sight of me. He fawned over me at every turn, placing me up in the saddle with his strong arms on my corseted waist as I leaned over onto his broad shoulders. His hands tarried on my skirt as I looked down at him, smiling. He mounted his horse and off we rode. My origins provided sufficient experience in horsemanship, but it was the first time I rode side saddle. My billowing crinoline slip afforded me needed modesty about my ankles, and my poodle skirt covered the saddle and my legs well. As we rode along the groomed riding path, I wished that Carla hadn't been so insistent on lacing up the corset, but found it too comforting after a while. My soft paunch would have been bouncing around more vigorously if it weren't so well confined. It had been a while since I rode a horse, but my skills soon gave me confidence and we had a marvelous time. Afterwards, I begged Joel to let me go home to get refreshed, as the ride was a bit dusty, but he advised me that his wife was waiting for us and would see to it that I was properly bathed and anticipated the visit. A new outfit was waiting there for my arrival. The short ride to his home was uneventful, except he held my hand in his for the entire trip. In my heart, I wanted to be respectfully responsive, but cringed at the thought of being kissed by another man. I kept telling myself it was wrong, over and over. His wife was overpowering. She insisted on attending to my bath, personally. She wanted to see proof that I wasn't some snipe that was luring her husband into a romantic affair to exploit their fortune. Once she was sure of my manhood, she briskly helped me dress and get ready. She returned me to her husband's arms and left us alone. He took me into his arms and kissed my cheek lightly. There. Is that what worried you on the way home? Are you afraid that I'll ravage you against your will? Please, Gail. Be patient with me. I don't know what I want any more than you do. I never had a chance to date girls much as a youngster. You know our marriage was prearranged, and we were chaperoned every place we went. My wife is a frigid woman, yet I'm devoted to her. She can't help the way she is. I don't want to get some girl into trouble, so this is the only alternative, as I explained from the very beginning. I won't defile you in any way. Try to relax and enjoy my company if you can. I know I'm older, but it pleases me to date you, like we're still teenagers, exploring life for the first time. It is for me, you know. Joel. I understand. This is all so new to me as well. Inside, I know that I'm male, and it bothers me that I enjoy behaving like an innocent girl for you, as if it is merely a play and we're just actors, doing a job. I accepted being an escort, just to get out of Hawk, but as it goes along, it's beginning to mean much more than that to me. I like doing it. It's a very exciting experience. I don't know how long it will continue to be, so I don't want you to think this is any more than just another assignment. You're my client, no more. In the meantime, please try to remember that we're only playing out parts together, hopefully to give you the chance to date someone that you never had in your youth. Enough said. Let's go have dinner at some quiet bistro and have a grand time. You can tell me the kinds of activities you like, and I'll tell you if they appeal to me, too. He put his arm around me, and we went out to let the waiting limo take us out to what became a long string of dates we had and still have together as a couple. I won the bet. Bill had plenty of money he earned as a male escort to pay his share of the back rent, as well as all of the 2 months' rent during the period of the bet. We continued to fulfill the bargain with Myra and Carla, but saw less of them once they were confident we were well qualified in our roles. Bill's manners improved dramatically, but once in a while, he was still cagey around me in the apartment. He even tried to kiss me again. Well, I guess I wasn't discouraging him enough, so he tried. I spend most of the time in women's clothes, as Joel and his wife heap them upon me at every turn. Shopping for me gives her a kick. It would be a shame to let them go to waste, cluttering up my closet. I like to have ample free time to satisfy my pastimes, so I chose not to get another job. The market stayed soft, and the pay is meager by comparison. Bill went back, is doing rather well, but insists I pay half our living expenses, just the same. I can well afford it, because Joel's wife is generous and extended my term of my employ, but with less frequency. I have sufficient income for my support and to add to my flush bank accounts. No worries now about being tossed out into the cold for years to come. I didn't have any drastic surgery like Carla, but I did have my beard removed. I never did care for daily shaving. I still use depilatories. If anyone at the gym's swimming pool asks, I tell them that I gain a few seconds on my lap times when I shave my legs. They buy it, and some of them try it themselves. Go figure. Well, guys, that's my story. I'm happy with things the way they are, and I will probably continue to dress up in women's clothes to go out with men on dates as long as my looks and the fees hold up. I still date Joel regularly, and his wife alone, upon occasion. Their daughter got married to a guy she barely knew, just like her mom. I went to the wedding reception as part of the catering staff. As a uniformed waiter, no one recognized me as that cute young girl Joel is seeing on the sly. Yes, people talk, but having a mistress is not uncommon in their social circles. How far am I willing to go, you wonder? Gentlemen, please. You know a girl never tells. Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.